Hello, everyone. I'm Nwabudiké, aka Carl CNN, and I'm one half of the Rated Podcast, which is a popular culture and music podcast. And I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Olly.
And on behalf of Black Tech Fest, today we have the honor of interviewing the actress, singer, author, and songwriter Michelle Williams. Hi, Michelle. How are you doing?
Ah.
Y'all are so cute. I'm wonderful. It's good to be here today.
Great. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. We really appreciate you just spending the time. I'm going to pick your brain today and ask you a couple of questions, if that's okay with you, of course.
Okay. Of
Right.
course. Of
Yes.
course.
But before we get into it, how are you feeling today? Like, it's important that we check in, of course. So, how are you doing today?
Right. I'm doing really good, Ollie and Carl. So I live in Atlanta, so I'm excited that it's still pretty warm here. So that's always good.
It's literally raining here in England.
It's cold.
What's
As it always
new?
is.
It's cold.
What's new?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
And what time is it over there?
A couple times though, the sun will shine in England. The sun will shine
You know
over here
what?
in the UK every now and
We
then.
actually did have a good summer, so I can't complain. But we're back to the rainy autumn weather, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. It where I am, it is 1:15 p.m.
Okay. So,
okay. Cool. It is currently 6:15 p.m. here.
Okay, coolio. So just a little 5-hour difference.
yeah.
Yeah,
I will.
we're just worried that you're going to be in the morning all tired, and you're not a morning person.
Am not.
Me neither. It's fine.
Yeah, none of us know. None of us are at all. So, yeah. Okay, cool. So, let's get into it. So, Michelle, you're like super accomplished. You've won a Grammy Award, a Stellar Award. You've written a book. You've been on a Masked Singer in 3 different countries. I watched you in the British one, and you did really well. Are there any accomplishments that you're
Me too.
especially proud of?
Um, I think I'm more there's not one specific thing that I'm proud of, but I'm proud of resilience for 22 years, of being in business. I'm really proud of that. Because I do so many different things, I'm proud to be able to I'm blessed to do many things that I continuously dream of doing.
Yeah, so always have an aspiration. That's really important, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's no small feat as well. Like is like major. So
You say what?
that's no small feat as well. 22 years is major. So that's a huge accomplishment in itself, definitely.
Oh, yes, absolutely. 22 years is a long time to have longevity. And you don't even understand how important relevance is, and how a
Yes.
person can you still be relevant in various areas. I share with friends all the time to still get certain invitations, or when I reach out to people, they say, "Girl, yes, come on, we'd love to have you," is a blessing that people don't realize at times.
Yeah.
So if you've been on your job a year, 5 years, 10 years, count it a blessing.
Even when I'm at a job for like a year, I think that's a long time. So I can't even imagine 22 years in the same position. Not the same position, but like the same
Yeah.
field.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it must be hard.
In entertainment and arts, you can do a variety of things. I'm loving
Yeah.
seeing singers delve into acting or product lines, and vice versa. If you're an entrepreneur, or heck, if you work in an office, you can work in an office, but maybe you have a catering business on the side. You're a chef on the side. So please, by all means, do those things that are in your heart to do.
That's it.
I think that's important. I think you need to enjoy what you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And one thing about you, Michelle, I feel like you're multifaceted. So you do like different things. So I really think that that is a key to like the longevity as well. Being like having your hand in different pockets and like developing different skills and doing different
Mm-hmm.
things. You know what I mean? Not just fixating on one particular skill or talent. So
Mm-hmm. Right. Correct. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. So as we know, unless you're living under a rock, you were part of one of the biggest girl groups of all time. So we just wanted to know some of your highs and lows of being part of that group. And obviously, we know you've kind of taken a quieter stance in some sort of sense in recent years. How is that compared to being like in the spotlight or limelight when you're in that group?
What do you mean by quieter
I
stance?
guess because chart topping in the 90s and noughties, and just being like on tour all the time, and having that buzz. And obviously, like you said, you've dipped your toes in like a lot of other things recently.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you ever miss that, like being part of that girl group, or is it just like a part of your life that it's in the past now?
Mm-hmm. I think why neither three of us miss being part of the girl group is because of the relationship we still have. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And so when even that work relationship, within a few months turned into friendship, turned into sisterhood. So
yeah,
we've had that all these years. Now to pick up a mic and sing together, that's just more icing on the cake versus like foundationally relationships. So I can't say, that I miss it,
yeah,
you know, because we've all still been trudging, doing amazing things since then. So every now and then, maybe the touring and going to different countries, especially countries in which we were able to make so much impact on consumers
yeah,
and buyers of our music personally. We were, to this day, we still get messages of how we are still impacting people through our music. So maybe I might miss that, but I don't want anybody to get anything twisted
yeah.
as far as you know, the three of us are still doing our things in our own
Yes,
individual,
definitely, definitely.
yeah, in our own individual ways. So, yeah, but I would just say, just maybe the touring part
Yeah.
that is missed.
From the outside, I think the touring part seems like the best bit of it. I would love to go to different countries and just see the culture and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
it's really
yeah.
nice. Um,
It's amazing, been able to. I was in London last year, as doing the Masked Singer. Although the only thing about that time, I couldn't tell anybody I was really in London.
exactly. You have to keep it under wraps.
Yeah.
I had to keep it under wraps. I couldn't really be out in public. And if I did, it was in places where I knew it would be quiet.
Yeah,
If I would go to a restaurant, but I would have to pick a restaurant that was quiet in the
yeah,
cut, or just be in my apartment, all those days. So, but London, a favorite of mine for sure.
we're
Oh,
from London, so we know that is great.
Yeah, yeah, but I promise you, I hate that I couldn't even do things like do more book signings and events, that I would have loved to have done while there. But I'm gonna come back in 2023.
yeah, please
Good.
do.
We would love
Please,
to see you back.
more than welcome. Please do.
Absolutely.
Yes. Lovely. So in terms of like
Thank you.
making music, Michelle, is there a particular part of creating music that you enjoy more so? So do you like writing, recording, or performing more than any of the
Mhm.
other? I mean, you kind of just said,
I like the writing and recording. Yeah, I love the writing and recording. I love, when you stack a harmony, a layer, and you uh hear it all together, hear those parts together, those harmonies together. That's kind of my favorite part.
amazing. We love that. We love your harmonies as well. That's one thing that I think a lot of fans are really like really happy about. Definitely.
Uh
Bridge Queen.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
On the back of
One
that,
of sorry, sorry, I think sorry, can I just say something? Your bridges in Destiny's Child, like any Destiny's Child song, your bridges were like my favorite parts of those songs. I just wanted to say that.
Mm,
Bridge Queen.
Thank you. Thank you. I've been over the past couple years, y'all have given me that name.
how do you feel about that title though? Is that something you like? Do you laugh about it? Do you enjoy that kind of title? Or what do you think?
I don't know. There could be worse names out there.
True.
True.
So, I believe it was coined out of love and given to me in love. So I pray it was.
Yeah, definitely a compliment. Are there any like musical collaborations that you've
Yeah.
particularly enjoyed, or like artists and producers that you've enjoyed working with? Do you have any fun stories that you can share with us about people you've worked with?
People we've worked with, you know, there are collaborations that you do, but sometimes you're not even in the same room. That's because of technology. You can do a duet with someone and they not even be in the same room. I loved Fantasia when she hopped on one of my songs,
Yeah.
uh, but we weren't in the same room. She was literally in one city and I was in another city. So that's because of technology, which is great, because you can work with somebody in India and maybe you can't get to India, but they can't get to the States or they can't get to the UK. But because of technology, they can just lay their vocals down and email them literally, and you can make it happen. There are just lately for me, all of my speaking engagements and everything that I'm doing in mental health, some of the collaborations there with some of the folks have just been absolutely amazing. But to this day, my dream collaboration would be I want to work with Sting. I've been saying that for years. And, I would love to either have him arrange something for me. I think he's amazing.
Yeah. So going back to what you said about technology being amazing, we can relate because Carl still lives in London and I'm recently moved to the north of England. So we do our podcast pretty much all the time. We do
Oh,
it remotely.
see?
So we always do it over Zoom, or not Zoom, but Google Meets. And so
Yeah.
so it still works. And like you said, technology is so important to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we can relate to that.
Definitely, yeah. But yes, so going on, I currently work in mental health. So I work in a mental health hospital, and I think like over the last 2 years,
Mm.
it's been difficult for everybody. So I work in project management in a mental health hospital. But I think firstly we need to like be appreciative of the fact that we kind of all made it through the last 2 years because it's been very intense. So we should commend ourselves for that firstly. And I think one thing I became more aware of during the pandemic was like my mental health and how being at home all the time and working from home and doing everything from home impacted my like
Yeah.
mental health, and I felt more anxious and that kind of thing. So like, would you say that being in the music industry generally affected like your mental health? And would you like to share some of the challenges that you experienced?
I yeah, I would never dare blame the music industry. Now, mind you, everybody has a mental health.
Yes.
Everybody has mental health. Everybody does not have mental illness or mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want to get that clear. Everyone has a mental health, just like we all have cardiovascular health, meaning your heart. Everybody has a heart, right? You have heart health. Everybody has reproductive health. You know, so I would definitely want to make that clear. When I got the diagnosis of my depression when I was in my 30s, we realized that I had been carrying depression with me since around the time I was in the seventh grade. So that's probably 12 years old, 11, 12 years old, right?
Yeah.
So I carried that. I brought it to the music industry. The music industry did not cause it. A lot of people feel like arts and entertainment cause people to have mental health issues. Now, there can be things that happen in any industry:
Mm.
rejection,
Mm-hmm.
criticism. Um, and if you allow yourself to continue to be privy to it, hearing all the negative things said about you, you'll concentrate more on the negative than you do the positive things that people might have to say. Now, I will say, are people mistreated in every industry?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's true.
Unfairly. Are people abused? Absolutely. So, yes, in that instance, absolutely, that can affect one's mental health. I don't ever want to dismiss that. But I just wanted to clear up that it wasn't the industry that affected my mental
Yeah.
health. Now, the work that I do magnified some things that were already there that I didn't have a name for it. But once I saw my first therapist and the psychiatrist, actually, we did a a little test, a questionnaire, and she said, "Wow, you have lived in a state of anxiety all your life practically, and then you entered an industry
Mm.
which just incites anxiety. Anxiety meaning, you certain deadlines, how you should look. Will people like my song? Will people like this album? Will people like the show that I do? Will people like my hair and makeup today? That's oh my, can you have that's so much anxiety
Mm.
for you guys today. Oh my gosh, are we gonna answer? Am I gonna ask the right questions?
Yes.
Is our Wi-Fi good? We are in an anxiety induced kind of industry. So she was like, you lived in it with anxiety as a child. And so she was like, I'm not shocked that you picked to be in an industry that kind of doesn't go easy on a person that has anxiety.
I think what you said about being in whatever industry you're in, it's it can produce bad effects on mental health. So it's not just specifically the industry that you're in. It's your state of mind, or like how how you process things that can
Yeah,
affect your mental health. So I think that's really important when you said that you can't blame the
absolutely.
industry like specifically.
You can't blame industry, but what can happen is in the industry, or you can be at university, it will rattle some abandonment
Yeah.
issues. It can rattle trust issues. It can rattle, especially when you start having to deal with people, a lot of people, and collaborate and depend on people to help and get things out there. Those certain childhood issues, if you're unaware of them and you didn't know of them, if you're not maybe healed of them or aware. How about just being
Mm.
aware and how you should respond when said issue should arise? It can really take a toll. It can really, really take a toll.
I think a lot of people are not aware of how their childhood has affected them. So
Yeah.
I guess it's important for. That's why I think therapy is important in that sense, where you can kind of delve into your past and see how that affects your like day-to-day life presently.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Y'all, that
Mm.
is absolutely so true. And I want to encourage you. I know y'all have a list of questions um, that y'all want to get through, but this flow
It's
right
good.
here,
Yeah.
brilliant. But I want to get back to when you were saying how when you're not aware of, what happens in your childhood. So there's almost a list of like emotional needs that you need as a child, like affirmation, affection, security,
Mm.
respect,
Yes.
comfort, things like that. So when you don't get those needs met as a child, if you didn't have an adult, even if it wasn't a parent, if you didn't have an adult that, say, my grandmother, I can say that she gave me all of those emotional needs to be met. Like she gets a
Yeah.
10, right? Um, but when you don't have a lot of those needs met, they affect you. They come up in your adulthood some way.
Yeah.
Have you ever saw an adult and you was like, man, I wonder, they must didn't get a lot of attention in their childhood.
Yeah. From the way
Have you ever had to
Yeah.
say
yeah,
I
that?
from
mean,
the way they act, I think.
They didn't get, or you can say, I wonder if they didn't get a lot of affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have lack of affirmation as a child, as an adult, you perform so that other people can tell you, oh, you did a great job. Oh, your hair looks great today. It's like you didn't have it done as a child. So because you didn't grow up already knowing that you're amazing,
Yeah.
you look for other people to tell you you're amazing. And you don't have to just be in the entertainment industry for that to happen to you. You don't just have to be in the tech industry for that to happen to, because you take all those titles away, take out and just go back to the core of who you are.
yeah.
I think a lot of people don't realize like how important the relationships and the attachments that you have as a child are, and they really do act out when you get older as well, and they kind of affect the relationships you have with people in the future as well. So that is a really huge point, I think, there.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think a lot of people carry trauma with them into adulthood, and they don't really know where that the problems they have like stems from. So I think it's really good to be able to. I think that's why therapy is important generally, because you're able to kind of pinpoint where
Mm.
certain things and why you do certain things and why certain actions happen, and why certain things happen to you as a person as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Carl, that's so good. That's why we have to give ourselves grace.
Hmm.
That's why we have
yes,
to embrace that little girl or that little boy in you and be like, you are loved, you're
Mhm.
okay, and affirm yourself as the adult and be like, listen, what happened to you is not your fault, but the healing is
That's
your
it.
responsibility. I don't know if y'all have seen that quote floating
That's it.
around. It's
Yeah.
our responsibility. So, give yourself grace. Don't beat yourself up for things you've done out of that hurt, out of that pain, out of that trauma. Now, don't let it be an excuse.
Mm.
Oh,
That's it.
I'm a serial cheater because I didn't get love and
Oh
attention.
yeah, I
No, no,
hate.
no.
Mm.
No. Mm-mm. Now, when you know better, then you do better. So if you are aware
Do better.
Yes, do
that
better.
you didn't get certain things as a child, then let's work on that. When they say hurt people, hey, that's cool too. But
Mhm.
you shouldn't have an occupation of hurting people. People shouldn't know you based off of the hurt you caused. People should know you based off of your
That's it.
growth.
Yes, that's true. Hmm.
Mhm.
Like, now you can know somebody and be like, man, they hurt me, but man, they've grown so much. I can let them back into my life or into the inner part of me.
Yes.
Because some people you hold at a distance, be like, I'm not shaming you, but I need you to process your hurt and your pain before I can really allow you back in to my inner core of my heart.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think that's why it's important not to hold grudges against people. I know that if someone hurts you, that's fair enough. You can keep them at a distance. But if they try, if they try and come back to into your life and like say that they've changed and they show that change, I think holding a grudge against that person because of what they did in the past is not healthy for you and it's not healthy for your mental health. So feel like forgiveness is very important in that sense.
Absolutely.
It's
When I went
true.
to therapy for the first year or two, well, not it was reactive. So and so did this to me. They hurt me. Why did I allow this? So yeah, you can figure out what is in you that keeps attracting this, or what is in you that makes you allow people to continue to hurt you, right?
Yes.
Maybe you feel like, you know, I don't know, you don't have enough strength, or you're fearful of confrontation, right? But then we had to start also looking at ways that I hurt somebody, things that I said out of my mouth that hurt somebody. Like, I had to take accountability as well. So when we talk about mental health, it's not always about what somebody did to you. It's also taking accountability for um the hurt that you might have brought into somebody else's life too. How did you contribute to their pain?
Exactly. And I think the key word there is like
Mm-hmm.
accountability, which is very
Yep.
important.
Mhm.
Accountability. There are many times I've sat in therapy and be like, now this is not an actual thing that I've said in therapy, but for an example, I can be like, you know what, you're right. I told him that his breath stunk in front of 100 people.
Okay.
That's me saying, I know what I did was wrong.
Yes.
How can I correct
Yeah.
this? Oh, the steps to correcting it with the other person. Okay, maybe tell the person, man, hey, your breath stinks,
Yeah.
to that
Yeah.
person.
Exactly.
Don't tell it to the whole world. You know what I mean?
Don't
By the
tell
way,
everybody.
again, disclaimer, just an example.
Yes.
Maybe there's somebody listening that's going to be like, I did tell somebody their breath stinks in front of 100 people. So then maybe, yes, I'm talking to you.
Take accountability.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what, that's what's important, exactly. I think just going back to forgiveness as well. I think one thing I was thinking when you were speaking is that like I feel like unforgiveness is something that people harbor, and it can literally cause you to be physically ill. I think after a certain sense of time, and I think it's important to really be aware of the fact that forgiveness is free. It's something that doesn't cost you. It's something that you
Mm.
can like just do. and it will benefit you and better you as a person as well. So I think that's also very important. So
Well, yes. And if you look up forgiveness, and there are some practitioners who say you're not obligated to forgive. Then you have some practitioners, ministers, counselors who say, you know what, forgiveness is for you. Maybe it can help absolve some of that other person's shame and guilt, but forgiveness allows you to move on and no longer hold that other person hostage for the pain that they caused you. Because a lot of people don't even realize the pain you caused them unless you tell them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How many people
that's
that have
true.
hurt
Yeah.
you, they're oblivious. They've gone on to live a great life. Some people don't even know they hurt you, and so you're even walking around because it's pain you haven't even addressed.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's the honestly, like I'm guilty of holding things to me, not expressing myself. Like if I feel hurt or if I feel upset or whatever, I don't express it. And I've lost friendships and things like because of that. So I feel like I need to be more forward about how I'm feeling, and then that would eventually
Mm-hmm.
that will also come to me forgiving them and them forgiving me, and then that can like heal a relationship. So I think holding stuff tightly to you and not expressing yourself can be very damaging.
Yeah. And then when we hold stuff in, when we know a person has hurt us, we act very passive aggressive to that person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You
That's
won't
it.
answer. You stop. You stop answering their phone calls. You'll do stuff like that,
And they have no
or
idea.
you'll be, and they have no idea. Or you say, "Hey, I'll go out to brunch with you," but you're very standoffish, and they're like, Ollie, what did I do? Oh no, we good.
Exactly. Yeah.
You
And
know
I'm
what I'm saying?
guilty of that. God.
We very passive aggressive, but I think that stems from fear.
Mhm.
Fear of, well, I don't want to lose this relationship, so I'll just hold it all in. Fear of the unknown. What happens when I address this situation? What's going to happen?
Exactly.
Just fear of confrontation, period.
Yeah.
In general. I think though that generally speaking, I feel like it comes out at some point though. So like I feel like it builds up a lot of the time, and then like something small might happen, and then you just blow up on the person, and it's just like, wow, did this small thing really cause me to just go off on them like this? But
Absolutely.
it comes out in some form, in some way.
It comes out, but like you said, as it relates to our mental health, those unresolved issues begin to affect your physical health. When you say, like, when you see that person, or when their name comes up on your phone, your heart starts beating fast. It ain't because, and it's not because you're in love, and it's not because, oh, I'm so excited they called me. You literally can't even stand to see their name.
Exactly.
So that your heart starts fluttering, your blood pressure raises, you start sweating.
Yeah.
By the way, some of that is a sign of a heart attack.
Yeah, exactly. You can't let no one cause you a heart attack, honestly.
Yeah. Could you imagine a lot of the heart attacks? I can imagine a lot of heart attacks weren't because of diet.
No, stress.
Because of
stress.
heartbreak, stress. The grief of a loss.
Yeah.
The heaviness of a loss of a relationship, a job, an opportunity, a loved one. You know, that is why we do have to try to process, you know, our pain and our trauma, or just, hey, our transitions, or process a certain change. Like, hey, there's a relational change. Let's talk about this in front of someone who can mediate and help us make sense of all of this.
So I think,
you know, and encouraging people to let them know that that's okay to do.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I think a good segue is going into, you know, online abuse and how people kind of abuse like technology nowadays. Obviously, technology is a big thing. It's a big part of our lives right now. So you have social media, you have everything online. And I think with that comes people who use it in a negative way. And obviously, Black Tech Fest is about technology, and they have many speakers. But Anton Ferdinand, I don't know if you know who he is. He's an ex-footballer. He's kind of headlining the festival, and he said he kind of came out and kind of explained his experience with racial abuse online. And we know that you've kind of gone through kind of negative abuse online as well. So I just wanted to know, what are kind of your views on the negative uses of technology and social media? Does it kind of affect you, or do you kind of block it out?
I literally have blocked it out.
Yeah.
Technology is so amazing. You can be on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and TikTok. You can filter out certain words that people are known to spew at you.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if the abuse is still there, because I've set a boundary.
Yeah.
And if you can use technology to set that boundary, do it. Because I can't help what somebody is going to type.
No,
but
of course
I
not.
can, I to the best that I can limit what my eyes see.
Mm-hmm.
What goes into your eye gates or your ear gates goes to your heart.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't allow myself to see that stuff. The great thing about it is I've also let it bless me.
Mm-hmm.
I just sit back and watch. I just sit back and watch opportunities come my way that you can make fun of me all you want to. I'm still gonna be blessed.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna go on and do great things. So that's to anybody out there. If you've been bullied, abused, mistreated, you stay focused on your job. You stay focused on your goal. And the people who make fun of you, they have to literally watch you be blessed. I know this isn't a faith-based event, but scripture says a table will be prepared for you in front of your enemies. They literally can bully you, but they're going to watch you eat good. They got to watch you eat.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. And I guess that's literally what makes you stronger as well. Like, I think so. Positivity obviously contributes to you progressing in your life, but I do definitely agree, or kind of I think that negative things kind of like propel you more to do better rather than just positive things. So I think if just thinking about like applying for a job or going for a certain like role or whatever, and then you get a no, I think that propels you more than say you get like yeses to every interview, because it makes you stronger.
It does make you stronger, but I want to encourage people, don't dismiss how it really made you feel.
Yeah.
Because when you audition for something and they say no, you were rejected.
Yeah. And so you're going to feel sad.
Yeah. So it's okay to feel the disappointment and the sadness, especially because of all the preparation that you did. Or say you went to ask somebody out on a date.
Mm-hmm.
They have the right to say
no.
So you're going to feel rejected. You're going to be like, but I have a good job. I'm doing all the inner work. I keep myself groomed real nice. I smell good. And you still said no. So it's like, it's knowing that people have a right to say no just as much as they can say yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So I will never forget, there was a TV show. It was a talk show that I was in the running to get a place on the show. And it was probably one of the only times I've ever literally cried about not getting that part. I was devastated. But I allowed myself to cry. I allowed myself. I was disappointed. I was disappointed and definitely felt rejected. So I want to encourage people. Yes, we can think positive. We can talk positive. But don't forget. Don't sit in the sadness too long, because that will lead to the depression. Being sad, frustrated, confused, angry, those are all normal human emotions to feel. So allow yourself for a time to feel that.
I think a way I kind of get over those kind of challenges is like I kind of always agree with everything happens for a reason. So if I get a no, or I don't get something that I really wanted, I kind of say to myself, everything happens for a reason. It wasn't meant to be there at that time. Something else will come along, and that kind of helps me mentally get over it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you believe that, but yeah, that's like me myself.
I do believe that. I do believe it. It's almost like, now we say that in the moment, but do we really believe it in the moment? Right? But it's okay. It's okay. So you can say that, but when you can look at the track record of what you didn't get, but the thing that you did get was better than what you cried over, you be like, you know what? That's why that happened, because there was something better for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your book, Michelle. So in your book, you speak about therapy. And I think one thing we can all agree is that finding the right therapist is definitely like a mixture of like art and science. So like, is there any like therapeutic advice that you've ever received that you thought, oh heck no, I can't follow that? And do you often like reflect on your therapy journey?
You know what? The therapist that I have now is life changing. She is so amazing, to the point where I be wanting to go out to eat with her, but I know that's not ethical. You're not supposed to. I feel like she's my friend, but that's because of her approach and her technique.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's awesome. Holds me accountable. She lets me talk and vent and and then she's like, okay, let's process this. So I love her. Then I had a therapist that I felt was kind of judgmental, like inserting her personal convictions, or so I'm like, you're not the right person for me. But she's successful at what she does, so she might be great for someone else, right? So my thing is, it's kind of like, have you ever shared something with a friend and they were just judgmental?
Yes, all the time.
You're like, see, I can't share that with you. So you have to find someone else. So I'll say this: there's a book called Safe People, and one of the things about a safe person is you don't judge. Do you hold accountable? Yes. Do you tell somebody? I would have worded that differently, but to judge someone means you sit in a seat of superiority and you look down on someone.
Yeah,
that's a judge.
I think it's interesting what you say about friends. Sorry, go ahead, Carl.
I was going to say, it's interesting because I feel like that's one thing. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, you have a delay sometimes.
Yeah, you do have a delay. Yeah, sorry.
I don't know. Yeah.
Go ahead.
My bad. Sorry, guys. But I was gonna say, I think that's what it comes down to as well. So like with therapists or friends, for example, like you mentioned, the judgment element, I feel like once you say something to somebody and you receive judgment, or you feel like you've been judged, it makes you not want to open up anymore. It makes you want to be closed off to that person. So I think that obviously, if you have a therapist like that, yeah, it's gonna put you off of communicating with them. So I think working in mental health,
it will put you off from going to therapy, period.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's the thing.
But it's keep going until you find the right one.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. It's like there's different that you can work with. I think so too. And I think just working in mental health as well. So like a lot of the people that we work with, and some of the clients and patients we work with, they often mention like wanting a therapist that looks like them, and because I think they think that means that they will understand them. But I think sometimes like you just need somebody who will listen to you without judgment, and then you can go on from there.
Yes.
What you said about judgmental friends it kind of rang true to me, because I have certain friends who I wouldn't go to with problems because I just think they would judge me. But I have certain friends who I would go to like straight away, first port of call, because I know that they would not judge me and give me the sort of advice that I want and need at that specific moment.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to it's kind of, I wouldn't say like separate your friends in categories, but it's kind of important to know which people you can go to for advice and which people you can, they're just not so capable to give you that advice. Yeah.
I agree with you. And, look at the fruit of the person giving you the advice too. Like, I shouldn't be taking advice from you because we're basically in the same boat. So I want to talk to somebody that's had some success
Yeah.
in an area that I'm struggling in. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
So obviously Black Tech Fest is about technology, and so obviously you talked about therapy, and I've always wanted to go into therapy, but it's not quite accessible for me yet. So I've kind of been delving into the apps, like specific apps that helps you with your mental health. So apps like Headspace, and I've got an app called Motivation, which gives you motivational speeches. Do you use any of these apps at all, or do you just like do
I
therapy?
love I did something with a company called Better Me.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So, and I believe it's UK based, or it's a very big hub for the app called Better Me, and there's an app called Better Help.
Yes, I want to
You
get into
know,
BetterHelp. It seems really good.
so that's virtual therapy. It's a therapist that that you can talk to virtually. You know what I mean? So there are many resources out there, but I'm with you. I love the app Aura. I love the app Calm. There's cool apps like if you can't get to sleep, there are certain sleep meditations or music that will literally I put one on last night. I promise y'all, I don't even know how I fell asleep or when I fell asleep. I literally just melted into sleep.
Yes, yeah. They do really help,
That's the
honestly.
thing, yeah. Technology is amazing. I think technology is so great because I have a Google Home as well, and I use it to like play rain sounds for me to sleep. So I can't sleep
Me
without
too.
like hearing therapeutic. And it's nice to hear rain when you're inside the house and not outside. So it helps me sleep.
Of course.
Exactly. Isn't that something? We don't want to get rained on,
No,
but
exactly.
we sure want the rain for other therapeutic reasons.
We want to be dry.
Exactly. But so it's 2022, Michelle, as we all know, of course. And there's like things like platforms like TikTok and YouTube, and technology generally has a huge influence on music. So if you were to start your musical career again, do you think it would be easier or more difficult? Bearing in mind we have
Oh
these kind of
gosh.
platforms for promotion.
I mean, you can get your music out there instantly, yes. But it's so millions of songs are uploaded a day. What will make yours stand out? So you probably got to have more patience than ever before than say 20 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But we are still, the great thing is like we still see literal royalties from our music from long ago. I just don't know if it would be the same. I know it's not the same.
Yeah.
Physical sales versus a stream.
It's not the same, is it? No, it doesn't compare.
Not
doesn't
the same.
compare.
But the great thing is these phones, right? You can type in someone's name on Spotify, Tidal,
Apple Podcast, Apple Music, yes. Yeah,
Apple, and have listen to their music instantly. That's good, but that don't equate to a sale.
No, exactly. Oh, yes. We know that for true. Yeah.
Okay.
We know that for sure.
We know that for true. Speaking of tech, though.
I think it's
No, you go ahead, Carl. Sorry.
Let's say, yeah, it's definitely like, I think it's nice that we have the platforms, I guess, because things are accessible, but it's definitely like oversaturated. Like everybody's posting stuff. There's so much content to consume. So it might make it a little bit more difficult to find somebody, I guess. So, yeah.
Right. But do you know how exciting it is for that person who's been wanting to get their music out and at a click of a button can get their music out?
Yeah.
Like we didn't have that. You remember, I don't know if y'all remember, y'all, I'm sure I'm at least 10, 20 years older than the both of you. But we had to hand out physical CDs to people and hope they didn't throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
Talent shows. Yeah, talent shows and talent showcases. You could go on Star Search. That's really all you had. But now you got The Voice. You've got American Idol that's thrusting you in front of millions of people.
Yes. which I think is amazing. I think like what technology has done, that is so amazing.
No, it really is. It really is. You know, like I said, so for that young person to be able to just upload their music and somehow they're like, wait, 1,000 people have listened to this. Wait a minute, 10,000 people, have 100, then 1 million people have listened to it. That's how even artists are signed to record deals. It's basically off of how YouTube, like, you know, a record label wants to see how are you doing in these virtual streets. Do you already have a fan base?
It's instant gratification, isn't it? Literally. Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
just one. Just takes one hit, one
viral
moment. And,
absolutely.
Moving along from music for a second, we know that like us, you're a podcaster as well. You've got a podcast called Checking In with Michelle Williams. How are you finding that? Do you think it's like, is it something that you ever thought you would get into?
I love it. I have a blast doing my podcast, to talk to be able to, you know, just have conversations with a variety of people: doctors, artists, authors, athletes, yoga instructors. Just so it's really, really amazing. And the common thread is mental health. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I can imagine. Is anyone that you would like to work with specifically, or have on your podcast as a guest?
Have on my podcast as a guest? I want my sisters to come on. You know, just for us to have girl talk.
That'll be good.
You know, so I would love that. And let's see. There's so many great people out there, you know. And I had Iyanla Van Zant on my podcast a couple weeks ago. Mind blowing.
Yeah, I can imagine. There's like a list of people that we would love to work. You're our first guest, so like hopefully this like paves the way for like many guests in the future.
Well, congratulations! Absolutely, good.
Thank
and
you.
I'm wishing you well.
Thank you very much
in this area. Absolutely,
yay! So I'm really sad to say it's like our interview's coming to an end, and really enjoyed our chat. Like I wish we could chat for like hours and hours, because I think we had like a little bond, but
absolutely even more so now that I've been the first. So
yes, you are the first.
Please don't hesitate to, you know, have me back, and thank y'all for checking in and allowing me to check in, and to everybody that's going to see this at Black Tech Fest. I'm just excited to have talked to y'all, and I hope that something was said that resonates with you.
Yeah, of course.
And please get my book, Checking In, because there are lots of things that, you know, we didn't talk about today, but it's definitely in the book, and I promise you something is in there for you.
Yes. So we thought a fun way to end the interview is having a little game of this or that. Have you ever played it? Yeah, he's got the book.
I have, but yes, I would love to play this or that with y'all.
So only a few questions. So Carl, do you want to kick it off?
Sure thing. So first question, bit controversial: R&B music or gospel music?
Oh gosh. Woo! So gospel is my first love. So for me, I'm gonna have to say gospel.
Okay, cool. I think for me it'll be R&B, but that's just me personally.
And that's fine. It's not that, you know, there's a preference, because obviously
no, of course, of course.
But gospel, yes.
Yes. So this is controversial too. Girl group or solo artist?
Oh, I love my girls, so I'm gonna go with girl.
Girl group.
we love that. Instagram or Twitter?
Oh no, that's such a hard question.
I know what I would say. I prefer Instagram, so.
Me too.
I had to pass.
Okay, we'll pass on that one. Don't worry.
I think the people that watch this, they're already gonna know what my answer is. But
yeah, I think I know what your answer is. Don't worry, we got you.
Matter of fact, How about y'all tell us on? So go to Twitter or Instagram and tell us what y'all picked.
Yes.
What do y'all think my favorite?
Come on, Michelle, with your media brain. Come on.
I know. We love
So
it.
next one is listening to podcasts, or would you prefer reading a book?
Ooh, I'm old school, so I'm gonna have to go with reading a book.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. We love that. So the next one, keeping your designer boxes or throwing them away.
Keeping, you know.
And the last
Yes.
one is, do you know or say yes? Wanna say yes. If you
I
can
know.
say
Say
no.
yes.
Yes, I love that song,
Say yes.
honestly.
Yeah, I'll go with
Yeah,
say yes.
Cool.
we love it.
Unfortunately, that brings us to the end of our interview. Michelle, I want to say a huge thank you for participating with us. Honestly, like we've said, you're our first guest, and honestly, I couldn't think of anyone better to have as our first guest. I'm honestly having like a fangirl moment. I might cry in a second. And I want to say a huge thank you to Black Tech Fest as well, because they gave us this opportunity, and I hope it does big things for us. And I hope that you continue to shine as you're always doing. And I just want to say, make sure you check out the Rated Podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts every Wednesday, where you can see Carl and I speaking about music issues and popular culture. And apart from that, honestly, I'm just so happy that I got to speak to you, Michelle.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Olly
much.
and Carl, the both of you are divine, and thank you to Black Tech Fest for having us on your platform today.